Here's the bombshell. Prince William isn't just irritated, he's officially done. And not in that typical stiff upper lip royal fashion either. We're talking full on, don't even breathe near me mode. Why? Because King Charles, in a move that has left royal insiders scratching their heads, is reportedly trying to broker a peace deal with Prince Harry. Yes, you heard that right. After the Oprah drama, the Netflix expose, and that explosive memoir, Charles is still leaving the door ajar for his youngest son. Meanwhile, William, he's ready to slam that same door, bolt it shut, and maybe even torch it for good measure. And this so-called peace summit, it wasn't some secret hush-hush affair. It took place at the Royal Overseas League in London, practically within shouting distance of Clarence House, King Charles's very own Palace of Calm. Classic Charles, always trying to keep things polished and proper. Representing Harry were Meredith Maines and Liam Maguire, two staffers who surprisingly are still on Team Sussex, despite their well-known habit of firing employees faster than LA churns through green juice fads. On Charles's side, his trusted aide Toby Andre showed up. But William? Nowhere. Not a rep in sight. And that wasn't some diary clash. That was a clear, deliberate message. To William, this entire thing is a monumental blunder. In his view, Charles isn't building bridges. He's rewarding betrayal. He's opening his arms to the man who dragged the family through the mud on Netflix, penned a memoir packed with personal digs, and torched whatever remained of the Windsor family ties. And now Charles wants to sit down for tea and pretend it's all water under the bridge? Not on William's watch. Insiders say William is seething behind palace walls, using language that would make even the rowdiest pubgoers blush. One royal insider even told Page 6, and I quote, "William absolutely effing hates Harry." Their words, not mine. But this isn't just personal. For William, it's an insult to the institution he's destined to lead. The man is literally the next king of England. The crown will one day rest on his head, so any deal made without him at the table? It's a joke. It's like trying to negotiate Middle East peace talks and forgetting to invite the US president. William's not just Charles's son, he's the heir, the future king. And in his eyes, if his name's not on the deal, then the deal's not worth the paper it's printed on. But the real spark that lit this fire? It's what Harry actually did. Maybe, just maybe, William could have brushed aside the personal digs between brothers. But Harry crossed a line you don't cross. He dragged Catherine into the mess. In Spare, Harry painted her as some cold, rigid villainess, like she'd walked straight out of a bad period drama. William read every word. He saw what Harry said about his wife, who's been quietly battling cancer, and that was it. Game over. You don't come back from that. Not in this family. Not in any family. Meanwhile, Charles seems to be living in some monarch meets grandfather fantasy, convinced he can patch things up and play the ultimate peacekeeper. But William? He sees through it. To him, Harry's not returning for family or forgiveness. He's broke, desperate, and looking for a PR reset just in time for the next cash grab. Another book, another documentary, another headline. Any deal with the king would hand Harry and Meghan the royal shine they need to stay in the spotlight. And William? He's not about to play the supporting role in their redemption arc. His fury isn't just about loyalty to his wife or his father, it's about the monarchy's survival. The royals have weathered scandal after scandal, but nothing like this. Because Harry and Meghan, they didn't just burn the family bridges. They packaged the ashes and sold them to Netflix. William understands all too well. The real battle here isn't just family, it's the narrative. And he knows that narrative shapes the monarchy's legacy. And what William sees now, a father willing to wager centuries of royal tradition just for a cheap PR win, all to appease a son who treats the monarchy like it's his personal reality show set. And the kicker? Harry isn't even hiding it anymore. Every move, every statement, it's all calculated. The talks of forgiveness, healing, reconciliation, that's just background noise for the cameras. Behind the scenes, William sees the same old game. Harry says one thing, does another. Private conversations end up in the headlines. Family gets thrown under the bus in interviews. And the petty jabs? Like mocking his brother's hairline on a global stage. There's always a next play, always an angle. What stings most is that William remembers a different Harry. The brother who cracked jokes, stood side by side at royal engagements, and shared an unbreakable bond forged in the pain of losing their mother. But that Harry? He disappeared the moment Meghan came on the scene. And for William, this isn't just anger anymore. It's heartbreak. Because even if some deal gets made, it won't be with the brother he once knew. It'll be with a stranger. A man William barely recognizes. Someone he believes is being completely controlled. Meanwhile, Charles is caught between a crown and a crisis. Yes, he's a father who wants peace, But he's also the king, and kings don't broker deals out of emotion. William thinks his father has forgotten that crucial fact, because being monarch isn't just about wearing the crown, it's about setting the tone for the entire royal family. And when the tone from the top is soft and forgiving towards someone who's done nothing but harm, it sends a dangerous message to the public and to future royals alike. Loyalty is optional. Then there's Catherine. She may not be speaking publicly, but behind the palace walls, her silence says everything. Harry's portrayal of her in Spare, as cold, standoffish, even envious, wasn't just a character attack. It was personal. And now, after Catherine's public revelation of her cancer diagnosis, a moment that united the nation in sympathy, the sting of those insults runs even deeper. William hasn't forgotten that. He hasn't forgiven that. The idea that Harry could just waltz back into royal life, brushing aside the pain he caused, especially to Catherine, for William, that's a line you don't cross. Not ever. The late Queen had her way of handling royal crises. Quiet fortitude, clear boundaries. Her famous remark, her full-length remark, recollections may vary, was her subtle way of calling out untruths without ever lowering the crown's dignity. William learned from her. He doesn't do grand statements or emotional sit-downs with the media, but he's made his position crystal clear. If Charles wants to extend the olive branch, he'll be doing it alone. And let's not forget, Harry and Meghan still cling to their royal titles, Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They're still HRH in spirit, even if they promise to step back. To William, that's the ultimate insult. You can't abandon the family, attack it publicly, and still brand yourself with the titles you claim to despise. It's like quitting a company, bad-mouthing your former boss, and then showing up for the employee perks anyway. So here we are. Charles wants unity. Harry wants a comeback. Meghan? She never left the spotlight. But William demands accountability. This royal feud isn't just a family squabble anymore. It's political. It's institutional. William knows that every gesture, every word, every photo gets dissected worldwide. The monarchy lives under a microscope. So when the King of England even considers back-channel talks with the very people who nearly demolished the monarchy's reputation, it's more than just bad optics. It's a betrayal of the crown's duty. And William, he isn't playing for headlines. He's playing for history. And legacy? In William's eyes, it certainly doesn't include a reunion tour with two people he believes are self-serving and disloyal. While the world's cameras chase Harry and Meghan around Montecito and Netflix plots their next royal docuseries, William is playing a quieter, smarter game, building his monarchy. A monarchy that's leaner, more stable, and unapologetically firm. In William's version of the future, there is no room for half-in, half-out royals. No revolving door for the disgruntled. The next era will be clean. And make no mistake, William is already sweeping. Behind the palace walls, the conversation about stripping Harry and Meghan of their remaining titles keeps resurfacing. Right now, it's too politically volatile. But William is playing the long game, and when the crown passes to him, expect decisive action. The HRH styles? Gone. The Duke and Duchess titles? Very likely gone. Access to royal events? Revoked. Because to William, you don't get to mock the institution while still cashing in on its prestige. And then there's Meghan. William sees her not just as a catalyst, but as the architect of Harry's downfall. It's not just the interviews, the conveniently timed leaks, or the endless branding exercises. It's the calculated distance, the relentless PR machine, the way every move seems choreographed for maximum media attention. When Harry speaks, William doesn't hear his brother. He hears Meghan. That's why, to William, any deal struck with Harry is really a deal with her. And deals with Meghan, they always come with an expiration date. But more than revenge or protocol, there's something deeper driving William. His children. George, Charlotte, and Louis are growing up under the same harsh spotlight Harry claims to have escaped. And William knows they're not just inheriting crowns and castles. They're inheriting the mess Harry and Meghan have made. He wants to shield them from that. He wants to build a monarchy that isn't just dignified but protected, so that when his children step into it, they won't have to navigate the same chaos. Because every time Harry lobs a grenade from California, packaged as truth-telling, it's not just the family that takes the hit. It's the institution. It's the legacy. Charles, of course, still sees all of this as a family issue, a father trying to mend fences before time runs out. But William, he doesn't have the luxury of being just a brother or a son. To him, this is a matter of state, a matter of survival. He's seen what happens when leadership gets too sentimental. The late Queen was many things, but when duty called, she never wavered. William has learned that lesson, and he's ready to apply it. The palace remains publicly silent. That's the royal way. But inside, the split is real, permanent. William and Harry aren't just estranged. They're done. No PR stunt, no carefully staged handshake. No, sources close to the brothers' story will change that. Because the final betrayal wasn't the book, or the interviews, or even the wildest allegations. It was Harry's belief that he could walk back into the fold without ever taking responsibility. That's where William draws the line. So if Charles wants peace, he'll be pursuing it alone. Because when William becomes king, peace won't come through hugs or headlines. It'll come through boundaries, through structure, through consequences. The age of indulgence is over, and for Harry and Meghan, the door is closing. And this time, it won't reopen.